We're back for the third men's singles quarterfinal between two junior stars. Derek Nye of Maryland on the right side in the red top. His opponent will be Krish Avvari, playing for the ICC club in Milpitas, California. Krish participated in the Youth Olympics for Team USA. Both these players very strong. Derek seated in the 17 to 32 slot, while Krish was one of the top 8 seeds. So Derek surprising a couple players. I would think, Matt, on paper that Krish would be the strong favorite, but when you have juniors playing juniors, like I say, anything can happen. But often they've played each other a lot more, and wow, Krish really unloaded on that forehand loop there. And Krish did win the junior title here, so a number of the coaches have felt that he was one of the dark horses to look out for in the men's singles. That's a very nice opening by Krish.
It's bold, very close to the edge of the table.
It just appears, Matt, that Krish is going to be a little bit stronger on the opening loop, a little safer on the backhand side, and a little more experience on getting through the serve and serve return. Derek's going to be playing a little bit more catch up and just try to get into the rally, whereas Krish probably be able to move him around with a bit of ease.
Krish is also able to drive a little bit more weight transfer once he's in the topspin rally. You can see Derek's relying a little bit more on the hand. The backhand countering's a little bit more simplistic and reliable. Krish really knows how to follow through the ball.
Oh, that's a nice backhand redirect from the forehand side. And Derek's going to need to really mix it up. Not just play straight forward or cross court off of every forehand and backhand. That's just too predictable. And you can see Krish going down the line, being the first player to change the angle.
I mean, from what I've seen in other matches, Derek certainly has the speed to be able to compete here, but he just needs to be able to pick the right tactics to have a chance in the match.
There's probably 1 out of 4 tactics that'll work and the other 3 won't. And Krish has each one of those covered. And you just see a lot of forced shots that don't need to be taken because the shot's not really there. And just wow.
Great inside out shot.
I mean, that was a blowout, 11-3. There wasn't much that Derek did that posed any problem for Krish, so
I think one of the strengths of Krish is that he's just so reliable. Every shot that he makes is reliable, whether he's, even if he's going across, inside out cross court like that, he just has just enough safety margin on the shot so that he's making it at least 80% of the time.
You know, as a younger cadet, Krish was very safe with all of his shots. Good block, kept it on the table. If he needed to push 4 or 5 balls, he would do it. Then after the Youth Olympics, training in China with the help of the ITTF, I know Coach Lily Yip was there with him. Although he didn't go far in the event, I think it really changed his outlook on what type of game he could have. And he's really kind of grown into his game to where now His backhand makes a lot of sense. His forehand has the multiple gears like we see Yi Jung Fen, who can kind of do it all. And his serve and serve return have become that much tighter. So he doesn't give the opponents, especially the other juniors, a chance to just get lucky, because you got to get past his kind of fortress approach. So we'll see now. He'll prove me wrong and start flip killing everything off the table. But that's what we've seen in the junior championship, where he's gone through and just really taken opponents out of the game. And that's Lily Jung right there. Nice drop, backhand opening, and then a backhand into your elbow. And he's not forcing anything, just like you said. He's kind of getting in position.
Just a little bit rushed there from Derek. He really needs to just kind of get in position and take these. I mean, it kicked a little bit more towards him than he might have expected, but he can't afford to be throwing these away. That's a great shot.
I just wonder on that shot by Derek if he was guessing that was the place to go, or if he actually saw Krish begin to turn a little bit.
Looked like he shifted his leg across for it. Seems to be really focusing more on that down the line forehand side so far this set.
I mean, Krish was on his heels on that point, and halfway through it, it looked like he was going to win it just because he was going to keep the ball on the table. That's a nice backhand loop by Derek.
Good combination. I feel like if he's able to get into position to play more forehands, it's definitely going to give him more of a chance. I can't see the backhand to backhand exchanges really giving him that much of an advantage unless he's able to kind of play those inside out flips or drive the ball down the line.
That's a nice backhand opening, very safe. In the junior event, Derek lost to Nikhil Kumar, so he wasn't able to reach the second round robin phase for the final 12.
Another player who's been creating some noise in the draw, Nikhil, after his 4-3 very close loss to Tim Wong yesterday.
And that's a nice controlled forehand drive by Krish. That's an adult shot coming out of a junior body, just getting in position and really loading up the spin. Nice forehand flip by Derek to even it up.
It's a great angle across the table there.
Got really close to the ball with his body and just fully committed. 6-all game 2.
Krish has got to be a little careful with the timing on that serve receive. This is the second time we've seen him come in a little too early this set.
Krish got away with a shot right there. Now 7-8 trailing. And the serve. So Derek in position with the serve. Oh,
Great
wonderful. That is an excellent example of stepping around and teeing off. But Krish able to take the serve and dig it deep into the backhand.
It's definitely going to need to be a focus on placement for Derek. He's got a very clean technique, especially on the forehand.
And a very strong forehand flip to even up this match at 1 game apiece. So the first game was all Krish Avvari. Game number 2, Derek Nye comes out on top with a series of strong forehands, and here's a nice flip for a winner to even up this match.
Seems he's really targeting the corners more, taking it across into the forehand corner with the forehand flip, and that last forehand attack he made inside out into the backhand corner.
Matt, did it seem to you that Krish got any safer in game 2, or was it more Derek playing that much stronger?
I mean, the thing about Krish's game is it's hard to know when he's playing safe and when he's trying to be more offensive. I feel like he definitely gave Derek more opportunities to attack, but at the same time, Derek kind of found the opportunities himself, especially by being a little more aggressive off the serve receive.
Krish is having some difficulty with his serve, missing the first one and then having that ball go long. Derek unable to convert. But as you said earlier, Matt, Derek's game is very clean. He doesn't do anything with any type of side spin or misdirection so much. I think that's going to lend itself to Krish with, again, a little bit more action on his backhand, block off the bounce.
Seems to have a really good ability to come in and forehand flip that short ball. He's kind of demonstrated that on a few occasions.
Oh, that is an insane angle. Derek able to run all the way across. Krish did not even make a play on the ball. He moved over, but his racket stayed in the same position. And again, that's how you stop it with a deep serve. But then Krish just sprang the ball long after the return. Momentum shifts. You can see the look on Krish's face. Krish just looks like he's lost any feel for the rallying or tempo. And right now, here are some critical points. Krish really needs to try to regroup from the momentum stance. And that was a very poor shot. He pushed a deep push, and then Derek drove it into the net. I don't know if Derek was surprised he got a pushback, but there was no thought to earn that point. That's a better loop there, and
right counter loop.
Slow spin, a little high, but Krish able to take it inside out a bit to the backhand side. And now Krish starting to counterattack the softer openings. Brings it back to a 6-5 game with Derek's final serve.
I guess that's how you can tell whether he's playing safe or not. I mean, he needs to be able to go for these counters, especially with such clean openings off the half long balls.
I mean, it's what we've just seen Krish do is similar when you have an adult play a junior. You just cut it out deep, force them to lift it with not much on it, and then just jump on top of it.
And the dangerous thing for Derek is that once Krish gets into that position, he can hit that forehand anywhere.
Right, that last forehand that Derek hit had no purpose whatsoever. He just barely got around it and put the paddle on the ball. Krish is asking him if he's ready to run, putting some force down right now. Derek's just over there, kind of without a life preserver.
Wow.
Krish happy to go backhand to backhand with him until that ball gets loose, and then here comes the forehand. And now Derek just forcing. Is Krish down 6-4?
Yeah, it may have been 6-4.
He just runs out the game.
There's Liang Yonghui from ICC. 2700 left-handed coach with Krish there. No doubt he'll be giving him some good advice as to how to start off the first half of the next game, so he doesn't end up in a situation like the last set. You see that shot taking Derek just a tiny bit out wider on his backhand, and then Krish just slams that forehand over into the empty space. I think the great thing about Krish's game is that he's just so adaptable to playing close or far from the table.
Yeah, even that shot right there, didn't force it, kept it on the table, gave him an opportunity to take a swing at the ball. That last forehand probably wasn't the best one. But you can't just, as a junior, hit every ball harder than the previous one, which often we see, all too often. The better players don't hit the ball harder. They set up the shot to allow a weaker ball that they can finish. Now you can see Derek begin to force things.
Interesting that he chose to forehand flip that ball, kind of coming across a little more into his backhand side, off the middle. And those are the kind of free points that Derek really can't afford to be giving away.
It's almost an all or nothing backhand flip. I'm either going to put so much pressure on you that you make a mistake or I miss it. And you just don't need that high risk on the first ball. He could drop it short, get Krish to push it, and then do the same thing while giving Krish an opportunity to possibly make a mistake or push one deep that he can turn on. But that'll come with experience.
It's another big shot missed down the line. Derek's coach calling the timeout there.
Definitely a smart move, realizing that a 3-1 lead to the stronger player is not what you want to be facing. Krish at the same time can feel a little breathability, a chance to continue to do what's working, but maybe even add a couple more levels of pressure to Derek. Matt, I think that this match for Derek can be one of those propelling factors. He gets to say, played in the quarterfinals, he was in the match, he played a good game, but this is a new experience for him for sure. He's not used to being on center stage. He's still battling in the junior events, and to be in men's singles, we've seen it with Chance Friend, Billy Ding. We always seem to have that one new player, and for Derek, this is his opportunity to get a taste of what it's like post quarterfinals. That's a nice backhand off the bounce by Nye. A lot of times juniors just feel they've got to make a shot outside their comfort zone to play with the stronger players, and we've seen that flip. That's not the first time.
It's a great shift of weight
Just
and control at the same time.
Technically so sound.
Wow.
And that ball.
Great execution. You actually could hear Krish's paddle hit the table as he pushed that one deep. Derek didn't really look to have any problems with it at all.
And there, Derek got Krish out of position but didn't move his feet for the follow-up shot. Just reached for it. There's a nice drop shot off the serve. Didn't quite do it. Derek needed it too, so.
Just needed to get his body a little bit closer to that one.
I would love to see Derek somehow get out of this game with a little W and make this a 2-all. That shot didn't make any sense. It wasn't a loop, it wasn't a block, it was a combination.
Seemed like he was ready for that second backhand, but he played very soft on it.
That's just
the last 2 points.
Yeah, too easy for Krish to get his forehand into play after 1 or 2 returns. There's the drop, a pop-up. Krish plays it controlled. Another well-played ball again. You don't see Krish really overhitting anymore. He just adds a little bit more body to the ball.
Down 6-10. Just a couple of those short balls. He doesn't really get his weight transfer under the table close to the ball. Strangely enough, he does it when he's forehand flipping, but not when he's going for the drop shot.
There's a slightly a bigger commitment, and I think Derek is still under the thought process of you go for a shot or you play super safe. Krish, on the other hand, works the point, is comfortable with backhand openings, forehand openings, using the opponent's position against them. And that's why Krish was our U.S. junior champion. Derek wasn't in the top 12. All of our juniors have great shots. We've seen Derek put balls by Krish. He's just not going to get that opportunity all that often. He's got to figure out a way of creating those opportunities, and it's got to be through the small stuff. It's not going to be a person who didn't read my serve, because Krish clearly has that ability. So I've really been impressed by Krish over the last 2 to 3 years. He came up short in Greensboro at the Olympic tryouts against Canuckja in the final day of competition, where he had some opportunities, but he's continuing to move in the right direction. And now he's 1 game away from joining the Final Four. Nice control. Derek made 2 good shots. Those were really nice off the bounce, but Krish was completely ready for those to come his way.
Saw a little bit more acceleration from Derek on his backhand. Whoa.
Derek was going to dig that topspin serve. Gotta check to see if he replaced the divot there. Nice side spin block by Derek. Krish had a chance to.
Just kind of threw that ball, second ball, a little bit long. Have been seeing a couple of missed contacts by Krish when he goes for his backhand flip.
Derek needs to just put a little bit more topspin on that backhand. Not a bad play.
Even if he kind of just waits a little bit more and then just tries to extend the stroke a little instead of always trying to take it tight off the bounce.
And when the bounce varies and you try to take it tight off the bounce, it's so easy to be reaching for the ball. And I think you see the experienced players feeling more comfortable in that final 3 inches to the body. It's so easy to want to hit that ball once you see where it's going. If your hands move first, your feet probably aren't going to move at all. And there's a nice side spin kicking serve like we saw Jiaqi Zhang do against Jennifer Wu.
I think one of the big differences between Krish and Derek is that Derek seems to get caught up in the pace. You know, he'll play a couple of quick exchanges and then try and carry on. Krish really has a good ability to judge when he should be playing slow, when he should be playing spinny, and when he has the chances to attack, then he'll speed up. It just shows a great maturity in his game.
And again, Krish under control. You know, I think, Matt, that Derek might hit the ball harder when he's in position, but Krish's 70% power is so much more consistent and so much better placed than Derek's at this point.
I think also Krish has a better idea of
Look at
how
that.
to play when he's not in position.
Exactly. That's such a great point that all of our juniors, if they're watching on the replay or listening live, you're not going to get your favorite shot 11 times a game. And that was a little bit of a misread there. Krish taking everything off the serve. Derek playing it like it was heavy underspin. Hitting it dead center and missing by 6 feet. And there,
wow.
Krish completely reading the depth of that ball. Taking it off the bounce. So 5 match points for Krish Avvari, the U.S. Junior Champion. He will add a Final Four placement with more match to come with a very solid performance over Maryland Table Tennis's Derek Nye. So Krish Avvari is our 3rd quarterfinal winner.